Hello, my American Studies 340 students. This is Professor Collins. It is now week 13. Yay! We are past, we're all past the stage of doing weekly readings and looking at lecture videos in general and having discussions online and so on and so forth. We're at the stage now where you've obviously submitted your second drafts of your executive summaries, and with that, hopefully your research papers as well. I'll be looking at those throughout the week. I'll begin the process of posting those and setting those up for sharing so that everyone can make comments on those documents between now and when we meet. Not necessarily this Thursday. We'll talk about that some on Thursday. But certainly by 2 Thursdays from this Thursday, which is December the 3rd. So that's the class that essentially should be a wrap-up class. If you look at the full schedule, I have December 10th down as a just-in-case day. It can still be possible for us to not have class on December the 3rd because if there's a major, it's December, snow, winter storms, late fall storms can make it more than possible, that either I lose power in the area or that AU decides to actually cancel classes. That does happen even with online courses. So you might not be able to do synchronous meet on the 3rd, but if things track the way they have, December 3rd will more than likely be our last meeting date. So I'm planning on having everything up no later than, say, not everything, but as many as I can have up by the time we meet for class this Thursday in terms of your executive summaries and in terms of your research papers. And as far as the videos are concerned, I ideally would like to get those up by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So even if you do not have it done exactly on November 22nd, and a couple of you have asked for extensions for a couple of extra days, if I can get those by November 24th, really, on Tuesday, November the 24th, because I like you, I would like to have my Thanksgiving day and the day after Thanksgiving as days that I'm not grading, not evaluating, not prepping, not doing reading in advance of, just, resting, like you guys want to. So make it easy on me a little bit too. It's not just about you. It is about your learning, but it is, from a work standpoint, it's also about making sure that everyone else has access so that people have more than enough time to rest and then go, hey, I want to look at a couple of these things. So that's sort of what this is really about today. So there's nothing obviously for you to do this week other than doing your video prep, putting together your video presentation. And whatever is in that presentation, whether it happens to be a PowerPoint, you're recording yourself talking, you're recording the two of you on the Zoom talking, you have stuff embedded in your PowerPoint so you can see video and audio if you guys talk, if you're in a group talking or as an individual talking, if you're doing a podcast with someone else, if you're, in one case, one of you guys has, doing a radio program, if you're including excerpts from that program, if you're doing interviews, however you're doing it, just, make it so that, you're basically doing a 10, maybe maximum 15 minutes if you're in a group. If you're one of two people, I think there are a couple groups in here, presentation, right? 10 to 15 minutes. And be creative, right? If you think that playing music gets to the themes that you want to communicate, that's fine. If you think rapping is a good way of doing it, fine. If you're spoken poetry, fine. If you just want to write some poetry and say that this exemplifies this, that's fine too. I think I joked around with one of you about possibly dancing in the video. If you thought that would do it, I don't know. I don't know what people's creativity interests are and how those things sort of intersect with this course and what you're working on in terms of your research project from this course. I don't have a clue, right? So, whatever you think works, What I don't want to see is people reading their executive summaries and or their research papers word for word. Please do not do that. Um, that's the whole point of writing these things, so we can read them, right? Do not do that to us. Um, there's nothing worse, as a professional, so a professional educator, historian, etc. Right? Going to a conference, hear someone talk about their research or their research paper or their thing that they're presenting, and they're reading their paper word for word. Their head is bent down the whole time for 10, 20, sometimes 30 minutes, and you're just watching this person read word for word, page after page, messing up because they have, they forgot what line they were on while they were reading it. Please don't do that. You only have a limited amount of time anyway, so work on those oratory skills, work on those media savvy kind of skills that you kind of need for those sorts of things. So, hey, I do all these recordings for you. Trust me, these are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So there's that. Anyway, what I want for everyone else in the class to do once I do make these available, and I'm going to try to set up a YouTube page for your videos so that it's easy to access, easy to make comments on, easy for everyone else to see those comments. Create a page probably no later than the end of this week so that you guys can post those there. All right, and my evaluation of what you do is going to be separate from everyone else's. I want students to do their own evaluations first. I will hand my own evaluations to all of you as individuals in this group, sort of submit those to you probably right after December the 3rd so that you have the full week to make your revisions. As far as peer review, each of you needs to find 2 different research projects. 2. There are enough people in the class. If everyone finds 2, and there are 13 of these, I think 13 or 14 of these in all, doing the math very quickly in my head, 13 or 14, something like 13 of these, 13, 14 of these. So if everyone finds 2, that means everyone should be getting at least 4 or 5 comments from 4 or 5 different students across the course. So everyone finds 2 unique research projects to comment on. And that includes, and you can comment on just the research paper. You can comment on the research paper and the video presentation. You can comment on the executive summary and the video presentation. But some combination of 2 out of 3 of those. So ideally one comment on one of the written documents, and 1 comment on the video presentation that goes with that document. You do not have to comment on all 3 of those. So it could be either video presentation, executive summary, or video presentation and research paper that you're commenting on. But you have to do 2 separate of 2 of those and give not just I think this is great. Okay, it needs to be more than that. You need to say, hey, I thought this worked. I thought this didn't work. I think you can improve on this. I think you need to rewrite that. It needs to be a little bit more. In other words, stuff that I do for you guys, right? Qualitative assessment. You don't have to write as much as I do, but it's got to be more substantial than this is great. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's really it. In terms of the remainder of the semester, you've got. I think you have a final reflection to do that's due on December the 6th. That sounds right. And then you have the final draft of your executive summary research paper due on December the 10th. The week of those final 2 weeks, the week that starts November 30th and the week that starts December the 7th, are weeks that I need to do final self-assessments with you guys, right? You don't need to rewrite everything you did the first time around. That would be a lot of work. But I do want to talk about with you in brief how you think you did for the whole course, right? That shouldn't, for the ones of you that have met with me up to this point who've done at least that meeting the first time around, that's probably a 10-minute conversation, maybe 15 on the outside if you have some serious things that you want to talk to me about regarding when we do this course again. We're expecting to do this course again in spring of 2022. Hopefully by then the pandemic will be over and I'll have more control over how we get to do this the CBL component. Ideally, I'd like to get rid of it, but that's just between you and me. I don't think the administration wants me to do that. So, but if we're going to do it, how do we do this correctly? How do we do this in a way that works for students and doesn't put too much burden on me? How does it work for me so that it's not me constantly trying to figure out how to best situate you, and not expect me to have 50 contacts in order for you to do that work, that sort of thing. But that's, but beyond that issue, what else? In terms of readings, in terms of the setup and the progression of the course, are there too many papers, too many writing assignments, too few papers, too few writing assignments? Are the questions too complex? I mean, all of those sorts of things could be on the table during the final evaluation, the self-evaluation of yourself for the course, and me talking with you through that. For those of you, there are about 5 or 6 of you who have not met with me to even do the midterm thing. You really need to meet with me to do the final one. Because at this point, without your input, this is just like a regular course. I get to determine your grade without any input from you, and I would imagine that you want to at least say something about how you think you've done in this course, right? This is supposed to be a 360 process where your peers do some evaluation of you, you do your own self-evaluation, and I do the qualitative assessment of you over the course of the semester. And I use all of that to determine your final grade. And if you're saying between an A minus and an A, or an A minus and a B plus, or a B plus and a B, being able to do that can help determine your grade, right? Otherwise, I'm probably going, oh, they don't seem that interested in this process. Maybe they should get the lower grade. So you might want to think about that, and then try to schedule something with me the weeks of November the 30th or December the 7th. So that's pretty much it. So carry on with your projects. Good luck with those. Carry on with your video presentations. Carry on with whatever else you need to do in your courses. The next few weeks are pretty good in terms of I don't have a whole lot of things scheduled, right? I've got this whole thing of juggling all these courses sort of down now, so that's a good thing. So if you need to meet with me, simply just email me and we'll try to schedule a time that works. Thursdays are still the best day of the week as far as 340, as you guys in 340 are concerned. But I can do other days now with a little bit more flexibility I've had the last few weeks. All right, that's it for week 13. Good luck, everybody, and take care. Take good care. Stay safe, sane, and well.